I bought 20 broken Wiis off of eBay, and today we're finding out if I'm going to be able to fix them. I spent a little over $300 on one blue Wii, 4 GameCube supporting black Wiis, 3 non-GameCube supporting black Wiis, and 11 GameCube supporting white Wiis, as well as one secret extra special Wii that I will talk about more later in the video, so keep watching for that. And before you ask, no, it's not the red Wii or the Wii Mini. It's way more special and way more cool. Anyway, this adds up to be a little bit over $15 per Wii, but the only problem is they're all broken, so I either wasted $300 for a bunch of junk, or I'll be able to fix these and put them in the hands of people who will be able to have some fun with them, which is extra good, since broken Wiis make me sad due to the fact that Nintendo does not make these things anymore, meaning there's only going to be a more and more limited supply every single time a Wii breaks. But I mean, luckily for us, there were tons of these things sold, but still, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. There's a limited quantity and fixing them makes me happy. Now, first of all, the Wiis ran into many issues, including GPU issues that cause artifacts to show up on your screen, power issues that prevent the Wii from turning on, which can be caused by almost anything, and the most common problem, disk drive errors, which either can't read discs, give your Wii an error message, refuse to spin the disc, or sometimes they won't even take in the disc properly due to how complicated the Wii's disk drive is, mixed with how easy it is to break. Out of the 20 Wiis that we have, 3 of them have power issues, 1 of them has a GPU problem, and the other 16 cannot read discs. Unfortunately, the GPU problem cannot be fixed ever because each Wii has its own proprietary GPU, so even if you were to replace it, the Wii would not work, meaning this is going to be a console I use mostly for parts. The disk drive of this Wii works great, and so does everything else, so it's a shame that the GPU is fried. This was most commonly caused by Wii Connect 24, which was basically Nintendo's way of keeping your Wii on standby at all times, but that's a whole nother can of worms that we can talk about another day. I had a similar issue happen to my childhood Wii despite never having that feature turned on. I just played my Wii constantly all the time until I fried the GPU myself like a true gamer. There is also a much more rare error that my childhood Wii encountered, which causes the screen to become completely dark and practically unseeable. I fixed this on my own Wii a few months ago by replacing a very specific capacitor, and I bought a pack of 10 of these hoping that one of these broken Wiis would have the same problem, but none of them do, so now I have 9 extra Wii capacitors lying around, meaning if you want a sequel to this video, leave a comment down below. My goal is to fix at least 10 Wiis, because I think that's what it would take to make my money back, but I really want to shoot for 15 Wiis being fixed, and ideally all 19 possible, since we know the one with the GPU is never going to be fixed. It is literally impossible, there's nothing I can do. Also, in case you're wondering, instead of selling the working Wiis to eBay, I'm going to be selling them on Whatnot, meaning some of you guys can even buy them yourself if you would like. I have a special link from Whatnot in the description that gives you $15 for free to spend on whatever you'd like, so even if you don't need a Wii right now, you should still go sign up and get your $15 for free, because it's free money. It would be silly not to, but I'll talk more about Whatnot and selling these things once I actually get a few of them fixed, if I can. The first step was obviously testing out all the Wiis individually and seeing what's wrong with them, but the second step should always be to take them apart and clean everything you can just to see if that makes a difference, especially if you're getting disk drive errors. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo tried as hard as they possibly could to make sure you could not get inside this thing, so you'd have an easier time breaking into Fort Knox or outside of Alcatraz than getting into a Wii. But it is possible. First of all, make sure the Wii is unplugged so you don't electrocute yourself later. But the hard part comes when it's time to take out the 9,000 screws holding this thing together, including the few that are literally hidden. The most obvious screw is the one here at the bottom that holds the battery in place, so I always take that one out first. Next, there are 3 tiny screws holding this black piece of plastic onto the GameCube ports. They look exactly the same as one another, but the closest one to the front of the Wii is actually slightly longer, which is something you have to keep up with if you plan on putting your Wii back together. Then, underneath this plastic thing, there are 4 more completely different screws that you need 2 different types of screwdrivers to get out. You need the classic Nintendo Y-wing and a regular tiny Phillips head. Once that's over with, you have to go back to the bottom of your Wii, which once again has all types of different screws. There's one obvious one you can now take out first, but there are some hidden under the plastic feet that you have to pry off. Not all the plastic feet, just some of them. Thanks, Nintendo. I pulled off all the plastic feet, and it was a gamble every time. Sometimes there was a screw, sometimes there wasn't. I don't remember which one's which. You know how many times I pulled off these plastic feet just to put them back on? Too many. That's how many times. Too many. The same goes for the other plastic feet on the side. A couple of them them have screws underneath, but not all of them. And if that wasn't enough, there are even more hidden screws underneath stickers. And still, pretty much every screw is different, so if you don't keep up with what screws go where, you will never be able to put your Wii back together. Once you get all the hidden screws out though, you should be able to unplug the front part of your Wii and take the shell off, revealing even more screws protecting the inside. Luckily, the inside is more straightforward, but it still uses multiple different types of screws, so if you have a Wii at home and you want to fix it, please keep up with every single screw you take out and where it goes. Or if you don't want to do all of that, you could just buy one of the ones that I'm fixing on Whatnot soon after this video, if I actually can fix any. So this was the first thing I did to every single broken Wii. I took it apart, I cleaned the dust out of the inside, and since most of them had disk errors, I took apart the disk drive and cleaned it out as well. These things are usually super dirty, so getting some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip and cleaning out as much dust as possible usually does the trick. Just make sure you get this laser right here, because this is what actually reads the disc. You want to get all the dust out because you don't want a dirty disk drive. I mean, that can't be good, but the laser is what actually reads the actual Wii disc. I went through this process 20 times and then tested each Wii, and a shocking 15 of them now work. Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes. 75% of the broken Wiis are now working after doing nothing but cleaning them. So if you have a Wii at home that's broken, definitely make sure it's clean before taking any drastic measures. The remaining 5 broken Wiis, on the other hand, still had some remaining problems no matter what I did, which first of all were the fried GPU Wii. We already knew about that one, but whatever. 2 white Wiis with retaining disk drive problems. I couldn't do anything about them with just cleaning. The discs just would not read. The blue Wii, which sadly not only has disk drive problems, but also is missing the eject button. Not the actual blue eject button on the outside front of the Wii, but on the motherboard, there is no eject button, which is crazy to me. It was also missing several screws, so some numbskull opened this up and just made a mess for us to deal with, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But lastly, there is one more white Wii with power issues. It just turns off as soon as I turn it on. I assume there is a short on the inside, and I will investigate this one last. As for the other 15 Wiis though, they all completely work. They read discs and play games just fine. Even the special secret Wii that I cannot reveal yet is perfectly working. This is honestly shocking to me because I assumed most of these would have horrible issues that would be irreparable, or that they would need a capacitor replacement, which is a huge pain, but nope. 15 Wiis worked great after cleaning them out just a little bit, including the 2 Wiis with power issues. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but 15 Wiis was my more unrealistic goal for fixing these things, which is great, but now I really want to see if I can fix these other more problematic Wiis. I'm fairly confident the Wii with the power issue will be an easy fix once I find the short, which is why I'm saving it for last, but when a Wii disk drive doesn't work after a clean, it's not a great sign. Plus, the blue Wii is missing an eject button on the motherboard, but luckily I have at least 1 eject button and 1 working disk drive I can steal from the Wii with the fried GPU, since, you know, we can't fix that one, and we're just going to use it for parts. Before we continue on to the notorious 5 more broken Wiis that are going to be harder to fix, I want to confirm for my subscribers that this is the big project I've been working on and talking about my past few videos, but it doesn't stop here. For the next few weeks, I'm going to keep making Wii videos on Wednesdays, while also doing your regularly scheduled Mega Man videos on Saturdays. So we're going to have Mega Man Saturdays and Wii Wednesdays.
What? Wii Wednesday is my thing! That's it. I'm calling my assassin.
What is it?
Yeah, take him out.
You can count on me.
But I just want to let you guys know, since I've already fixed so many of the Wiis, I can confirm I will be streaming on Whatnot and selling the Wiis there to you guys if you want to buy them. And if you want, I'll even sign some of them. I'm not sure why you would want me to sign a Wii, but I mean, I'll do it. If that's what you really want, I'll do it. I have a special Whatnot sign up link in the description that gives you $15 free when you sign up. So even if you don't want to buy a Wii, you still get $15 for free to buy whatever you want on Whatnot, like Mega Man stuff, for example, and there's no reason not to sign up using my link. You get free money. I'm also going to be putting Mega Man 9 and 10 on some of these Wiis, by the way, and maybe some other games if you're lucky, so keep an eye out for that. And this video is not sponsored by Whatnot, by the way, but they have invited me to be a part of their ambassador program after hearing about this video, so I am going to be streaming on Whatnot a lot in the future, so please create an account to come join and follow my page just for some fun. Not only am I going to be selling Wiis and signing them if you want, but we're also going to have fun. But anyway, we still have 5 Wiis we have to fix, but can we do it? Probably not, but 15 out of 20 is pretty good. But I'm still going to try my best, dang it. I'm Tooterp, for goodness sake. We're gonna fix at least some of those Wiis. So let's quickly summarize the problems with these Wiis once again real quick. One has a fried GPU, which I cannot fix, it is impossible, but I can use this Wii for parts. The disk drive works fine, so we can at least save one Wii with a disk drive problem, and I can even steal the eject button for the blue Wii, but that blue Wii is a whole can of worms. The blue Wii can not only not read discs even after cleaning, but the eject button is once again missing from the motherboard. It's missing a majority of the screws both on the inside and the outside, so the front face of the Wii falls off a lot, and there's more cosmetic damage than I thought there was. I was originally going to try to keep this Wii for myself since I don't have a blue one and I like the color blue. Even if it was unfixable, I was thinking I could at least use the case and put it over one of the other Wiis that works, but even the case is just in beat up condition. Whoever took this apart before I did literally glued the top parts on the Wii, presumably because they broke some of the plastic and it was falling off. So this whole thing is just a mess. I don't really want to work on it. I'm going to, but it's just a big mess and its fate is yet to be decided. Plus, its disk drive not only doesn't read discs, but the mechanical parts of the drive are destroyed. It is literally in pieces and I do not know if I can fix this. Maybe I can salvage and steal the laser from this one at the very least, but I don't know if that's possible and the laser isn't even working as of right now. So whoever took apart this blue Wii, you messed things up severely. This was a beautiful console and I hate you. Out of the other three broken Wiis, we have two with disk drive problems and one with a power issue, which I'm saving for last. One of the disk drives I tried to take apart to get a closer look at what was going on, but tragically I accidentally snapped the ribbon cable connector on the board. In my defense, this thing was super brittle and was clearly worked on and opened up before I got my hands on it, but after working on this Wii for a few hours and cleaning it out and testing it over and over, only for a small piece of plastic to ruin everything is depressing to say the very least. I wasn't ever able to fix the laser anyway as far as I'm aware, but at the same time, I don't know how hopeless the situation is, and I'm not going to be able to test this anymore because I can't connect it to the Wii. Again, maybe I can steal the mechanical parts of this drive and combine it with the one from the blue Wii, but I don't even know if the blue Wii has a working laser, so I don't know. This is all up in the air as far as combining broken disk drives. Even if I get two working parts, the lasers could just be messed up. We'll see. So basically, there are two Wii disk drives that are practically hopeless and basically destroyed. The last one with disk issues also wasn't budging even after cleaning it multiple times and making sure all the connections were good, so I decided to whip out my old multimeter and check the resistance on the potentiometer. Basically, the way the laser works inside the Wii is that it's at a certain power level, and if it's too strong or too weak, it's unable to read the ones and zeros on the Wii disc. These can sometimes get unsynced on Wiis, but they're generally supposed to be at 600 ohms of resistance. This disk drive was at about 670, which theoretically should be fine, but I thought I might as well try to get it closer to 600 just to be safe. The only problem is, first of all, getting to the potentiometer is its own Oprah Winfrey show and a big pain in the neck, but it's nothing your old pal Tooterp can't handle. The worst part and the biggest obstacle, however, is how small the potentiometer is and how hard it is to actually turn the screw. I've messed with potentiometers on Xbox 360s before and it is significantly easier, but for some reason the Wiis are nearly impossible to turn, at least for me. I've seen other people online do it no problem, so maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I hate dealing with this thing. Despite that, I did it anyway. I did not give up. What do I look like, a quitter? But it's so small that my multimeter leads can barely fit onto the pieces of metal that they're supposed to hit, so getting a reading is extremely hard. It took me about 10 minutes to get the 670 ohms reading, and after I did that, I turned the screwdriver ever so slightly and got it to 540 ohms. This was 10 ohms closer to where I wanted it to be, but since it's so hard to even get to this point inside of the disk drive, I wanted to get it closer. I mean, I already opened up the whole thing, why would I not just adjust it to 600 or at least as close as I possibly could? Well, that question was soon answered, because the limited space for my multimeter leads caused the potentiometer to tilt upwards off of the board, which I think may have killed it. When this happened, I didn't know for sure if it was a problem because it was still connected, but getting readings at all was becoming harder and harder. So after getting 550 ohms, I put it back together only to find out that the disc was now refusing to spin. At first, I thought maybe I didn't plug something in all the way or I missed one of the cables, but after double checking everything, I basically came to the conclusion that I broke the potentiometer and ruined the laser, which is yet another busted disk drive. Also, side note, this small plastic piece fell out at some point during this, and I have no idea where it came from or what it's supposed to do, but I don't think that would cause the disc to not spin. I mean, the disc still goes in and comes out just fine, which is what those plastic pieces are for, so I'm guessing I broke the pot. Maybe I should have just tried it and have been satisfied when I got 540 ohms, but I have a feeling that wouldn't have worked anyway. Also, I know a lot of people in the comments are probably going to be like, just buy a new laser or a disk drive and install it. And yeah, I can do that to all of these Wiis with broken disk drives. But I feel like that defeats the purpose of this video. I'm trying to fix broken Wiis, not to buy and replace parts. If a Wi-Fi card or something broke, which is something that causes the Wii to not power on, sure, I would buy a replacement for that. But these lasers should be fixable unless you ruin them in 3 separate ways like I did. Okay, well, the blue Wii was already in shambles, but you get what I mean. Maybe I'll try taking all 3 disk drives apart and trying to get 1 or 2 working ones, because theoretically I have the parts for 2 separate working disk drives with the combined 3, but they still have bad lasers that I would once again need to probably check the potentiometer on, and doing that would take hours and probably wouldn't even work. So if I do that, I'll do it after this video releases and tell you guys about it over on Whatnot. Plus, when a Wii disk drive breaks, it still works. You could literally take the disk drive out of the console and it turns on as if nothing is wrong. And these Wiis are perfect for modding. I have a few friends who happen to want modded Wiis, and I already talked to them about this, so if there's no way for me to get the disk drives working, I will give my friends some modded Wiis without disk drives, and they will not go to waste or be thrown away, I promise. But for now, it looks like I've ruined my chances of fixing any of the 3 Wiis with disk drive issues. I do at least have 1 working disk drive in the fried GPU Wii though, which I will use to revive at least one of these Wiis. And hey, who knows, if I can make the other 2 working disk drives I was talking about out of the parts I somehow have, then I could revive all 3 of these, but it's very unlikely, especially since the lasers don't even work. But anyway, on to the power failure Wii. This Wii will turn on and then turn itself right back off. The most important thing I noticed was that when you plug in the Wii, it has its red power light as it should, but when it turns itself back off, the light goes completely off, which is what happens when it's unplugged. This is also what happens if you short your Wii, which I found out a few times while trying to unscrew things on the inside of the Wii while the power cable is still plugged in, which you shouldn't do, but you know how it is, guys. I was just playing around. I was just messing around, guys. I didn't electrocute myself. I learned valuable information. If you short a Wii, it turns off and you have to unplug it and plug it back in. Now we know. And now I know there's probably a short. Anyway, I figured something was either plugged in wrong inside of the Wii or there was a weird loose screw on the inside, so I took it apart and investigated. I didn't notice anything, but after reconnecting a few things and making sure the screws were all the right kind, I did my first test and it just turned on and it worked. And even the disk drive worked, so I put it back together, but it had the same problem. It turned right back off once I put it back together. So without taking it apart, I tried unplugging it and plugging it back in, and once again it worked. I'm not sure why this Wii sometimes works and sometimes turns itself off, but when it's on, it stays on for as long as I want it to. It plays games fine and it has no problem, so I am counting this one as fixed. I'm gonna take this apart again and investigate further just to make sure nothing weird is happening, but this Wii is definitely working. You just might have to press the power button a couple of extra times for some reason. Again, this is weird, but I'm changing the tally of fixed Wiis to 16 out of 20, which is now 80% fixed. And with the working disk drive on the fried GPU Wii, we'd get to 17 out of 20, which is at the very least 85% fixed. I am very happy with these results. I'm still going to try to get those other 2 disk drives working somehow, and I'll keep you guys updated on the results, but don't forget, I am going to be selling these 17 fixed Wiis over on Whatnot. So if you want to buy any of these Wiis or you just want to hang out, please use the link in the description, because when you sign up, you get $15 for free. You don't have to buy a Wii with those $15. You could just buy something else. It's free money. I mean, come on. But I still haven't told you guys about the super secret special Wii that I got in this broken lot, which is an unreleased silver Wii from Nintendo Z3 of 2005. Yep, that's right. This is the top secret super special Wii. I was shocked when I saw this in the lot of broken consoles because I was like, hey, there aren't any silver Wiis that I'm aware of, which led me down a really deep rabbit hole because this is too good to be spray painted. I mean, the Nintendo Wii logo is still there. They're still eject and like power and everything. It's too detailed to be spray painted. So I went down this long rabbit hole and found Nintendo Z3 of 2005 with an unreleased silver Wii, but that's a story that's gonna have to wait until next Wii Wednesday. For now, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I know it was different from my normal content, but I hope you enjoyed either way. I thought it would be nice to do something new every once in a while. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If I get 100 likes, I'll do a video buying 100 Wiimotes and fixing them. So 100 broken Wiimotes and fixing them. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and I will do that. And don't forget to tune in this Saturday for your regularly scheduled Mega Man content. Until then, I'll see you next time.